Praise the Lord, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Lesia the Preacha. Okay. Well, how y'all doing this morning? It's a beautiful morning in Florida. I think it's it's probably about 70 degrees already at 8 something in the morning. I love it here. Love it, love it, love it. Right now, I'm just waiting in my car, and there's a long line to get like free food, you know what I'm saying? And they give out, fruits, vegetable, milk, stuff like that. So, and they don't have any restrictions, requirements, or anything. You just get in your car and pull up, and they'll load your trunk with food. Okay. Now I do this wherever I'm at. Even in Michigan, I have my favorite food pantry. And this place, it's not a pantry because there's no physical building here. There's a truck that pulls up in a park and just distribute the food out for free. It's just a wonderful thing. And I was out of milk this morning. I couldn't even eat my cereal. I said, let me jump in my car and go over there. I had got a phone call. Somebody tipped me that the food truck was here. I was like, oh, let me get cute real quick and run on out there. But the reason why I turned the video on right now is because I wanted to share a testimony. And, you know, I have lived a life of having to be silent, from, up to around age 40. Around age 40, maybe a little after 40 or so, I started to open up and share, the painful stuff that I had been trained to be quiet about, my whole life. But this testimony here is a good testimony, and I have to share it because I've shared some stuff about it in the past. Not a whole lot about it, but I have opened up about what happened to me. So, so you guys may recall uh, me saying how in a previous marriage, how basically a homeless young woman came in, and how I helped take care of her in as far as developing her. Like when she came to our home, she had no driver's license, no ID, hadn't finished high school, um, just hadn't developed during her childhood the things that's needed to be an adult when you're, 18, 19. So she was around like 19. And so, I spent about 2 years helping her get all these things. It started off with a state ID, then the driver's license, finishing high school, starting college, you know, all of that. All the way up until she started having babies. Okay. So, but as you all know, um, some inappropriate things eventually evolved between she and the husband, which I didn't make a big stink about because we had agreed to have an open marriage way before she came, about a year or two before she even entered our life. Um, we agreed to have an open marriage, but I didn't expect for family and friends of the family to be included in that. That was something that we didn't, I guess we didn't put a hard enough boundary in that area. It can't be family and friends. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, so that was a huge disappointment in my life. That, because see, that's something that I'm passionate about, helping women, especially young women, develop themselves. I'm passionate about that. And she was not the first, and nor will she ever be the last woman and young woman that I help to that extent. That's just who I am. Wait, it's something I learned in my family. It's one of those family legacies, you know. So that's one thing. You can't let a spouse piss on your legacy. That's my legacy. Having the reputation of helping women and children get on their feet, developing their mind, developing their freedom, you know what I mean? Ability to navigate in this world. Okay? So, one of the things that happened after he left me, well, even before he left me, um, we were separated but living together. We were separated, living together with an open marriage, and um, and so I end up in in 2019 getting an apartment in the projects in Florida, obeying God, just obeying God. Okay, so y'all, if I start screaming, it's because of bugs flying around. Okay, so anyway, so I meet when I get to the projects, I meet a young woman, and she had a child. In fact, I'll attach that video on here. I was at the park with Carson, and Carson was sliding down. Okay, my grandson Carson. Carson's what, in first grade now, y'all? My little Carson growing up, he in first grade. So anyway, so I was at the park with Carson. So a young woman with her baby comes. Her child's around Carson's age. So they come, and I was smoking. I smoke. And so she comes. She's like, "Hey, can I hit that?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." So we just sharing a blunt. Our kids are playing, and ever since then, we've been in each other's life, and it's been like 4 years. And let's just say, I've been that godmother. Okay, she has lost her mother, grandmother. You know, the important women in her life are dead, and she's really young. She's in her 20s. Has a couple of kids, and I'm like their godmother, god grandmother. They don't really have anyone else that consistently for the past 4 years that's helping them get along in life. Young women need money for diapers and wipes and toiletries and stuff. Well, anyway, I've been working with this young lady, caring for her and her children like a mother do. The older women are supposed to teach the younger women. And these younger women don't have to be your bloodline daughters. As long as they are a daughter of Zion, you know, uh, uh, a daughter of Israel, a daughter of Judah in my case, you know, then, you're helping the kingdom. Anyone you help in the kingdom is a blessing to us all. And I just happen to have I'm a mother. I'm a mother, and I'm a woman, so it's natural for me to kind of want to help women and children. So, I've been a substitute teacher for 12 years, Girl Scout leader, um, preaching, teach, and, and so I've been helpful. And so I've poured into her the things that I know, the things that I've done, the way I treat my daughters, I treat her. So, you know. So here's another young woman that I've poured into for 4 years now. 19, 20, 20. Yeah, so 4 years now. So we've been family for 4 years. And now she's in a relationship that could, possibly lead to marriage one day. Who knows? Now, when I say marriage, I'm talking the legal kind. But in the process, she's in a relationship. She's being a wife. This man is acting husbandly. They're being husband and wife in the spirit, in the natural, you know, just not in the legal court system. In all the ways that matter to the Lord, as far as your mind, heart, soul, and strength, they're together. To me, that's marriage. That is, those are types of marriages too. Just not the legal kind with a certificate recorded at a courthouse. You know what I'm saying? So she's in a relationship. It's a new one. So most people don't get married right away. This it hasn't even been a year good. It's about a year. So it's like she's doing it good. She's developed herself as a woman, developed herself as a mother, through us working together. And I'm not saying I'm taking all the credit. There's other people in her life that blesses her too. But I know that I've consistently poured into her life for 4 years. And y'all know I've traveled between Michigan and Florida as, Pastor and I are working out our partnership. And so in the meantime, when I'm in and out of town, I ask him to help with her. That's my daughter. I'm out of town. Help my daughter. And yes, I was very hesitant at first of even allowing him to meet her because of what I went through before. But it's not good to, it's good to learn from what I went through before. My words are getting all twisted up. It's good for me to learn from it, but don't hold it against myself and don't hold it against the people that God want me to help. I can't hold it against us, even though I learned from it. So I decided, let me go ahead. She's a grown woman, in her 20s. At the end of the day, she's a grown woman in her 20s. And he a grown man. These are adults. Adults are going to do what they want to do. So all I could do is just continue to be me. And any man in my life is going to have to be disciplined enough to know that there's going to be young women around. And you cannot be inappropriate. You can't piss on my divine work. I can't let men piss on my work like that. This is what God has given me. And it's my responsibility to protect all that God gives me so I can give it back to Him because I owe God my all. I don't owe nobody on this earth my all. I don't. I don't owe no spouse my all. I don't owe no kids my all. No parents my all. No employer my all. I don't know. I don't owe anyone on this earth my all. My all belongs to God. Just like everybody else in my life, their all belongs to God too. So I just had to obey God and ask a pastor to help with someone in the community. If he and I are partnering up, the people that are my, spiritual babies are his spiritual babies too. And so he's raised a stepdaughter before, and she's a grown woman with kids and grandkids. So he's had the experience of being around, young women, uh, girls that are not in his bloodline and caring for them. So he has the experience. So I just went on and introduced them and said, this is Pastor, this is, whoever, and she needs, I've been helping her, and while I'm gone, while we're working on our partnership, I'd like for you to continue my legacy. I put my legacy in Pastor's hands. I put my legacy in his hands while I was away in Michigan, taking care of family business up there, cleaning up divorce mess in Michigan. you know? So now I'm back in Florida, and, my goddaughter's in a relationship, you know, because Pastor was appropriate. He didn't cross any boundaries or lines. She was able to continue on my legacy plan. She was able to meet someone. And now he and I can counsel them. We're the overseers of their union now. So now he and I are pastoring in partnership, not only just her, but the young man too. Just to put it out there, this young man is a relative of pastor. Okay, they're related, blood related. So basically, me and my daughter, we got, you know, a couple of guys of the same bloodline. Same, I don't know if they got the same last name though. Anyway, bottom line is, so God can take what was a mistake, you know, not that the first time was a mistake. It's just that there were mistakes made in it. It was mistakes made in that first experience. But look how God allowed me to experience it again, but the right way. And to me, that's love, that's joy, you know, that's peace. And then my next video is called long suffering. I'm going to make another video called long suffering. To me, this was a type of long suffering, but I'm going to continue the fruits of the spirit video on long suffering on a different video. But yeah, so I thank God for some success. Because even when it came to adopting children, I adopted 2 sons. But because of the way the marriage ended, I don't even get, not that it's about me getting credit about everything, but like Mother's Day is coming up. I don't have that kind of success even with my own adopted kids. The way things ended with that girl, it also ended with my adopted children that way too. They're boys. And I can't even really fix that because they're men and only their dad can help them, maintain their manhood. It's not a whole lot I can do other just being encouraging if it's received. You know, one of my sons don't even allow me to participate in anything in his life. I don't get to participate in any graduations, nothing important. So that relationship is very, 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 fragile. I'll just put it that way. So, and I'm going to do a video on that, my adoption experience. DrLesiaThePreacha's adoption experience in a marriage. I'm going to talk about it, how it had, positive impacts in my life, yeah, but more negative impact. It had a greater negative impact in my life than positive. So that's why I had to figure out a way how to explain how I managed that level of evil in my life. That's why I came up with the whole evil management. Okay? Evil management. We have to manage the evil in our lives too. We sure do. We can't just focus on all the good stuff all the time. We can't. We got to also pay some attention to that negative, evil stuff in our life. And we got to keep that stuff under wraps, keep it under control, keep it managed. So I will be sharing with you, the good and especially the overwhelming evil that's associated with my adoption story. It's kind of like what triggered everything in my life. It triggered all the childhood trauma. It triggered, you know, um, all those vulnerable things in me. Anything that was insecure, it triggered all that, pulled it all out. I end up in a mental hospital. You know what I'm trying to say? So, like I said, that's another video. But again, I just wanted to share that, you know, a situation that was filled with mistakes, God was able to allow me to experience it again after that negative experience. and experience it in a way that He gets the glory. See, God gets the glory because God is the one that sent me down here. Even before I knew this girl like a whole year before I even knew Pastor. So I was able to put my influence on her without him even being in the picture. So she and I had a sisterly, mother daughter bond before we even met the man. Because we understand how men can be. We know it's hard for them to quote unquote resist temptation and, maintain moral values, in the presence of, others. I won't even say women. It's not even just limited to women. It's others at this point. So, but yeah, guys, I just wanted to testify. Thank you for listening. God do make miracles out of mistakes. Now I get to continue my legacy. All the girls and women that I helped before her, the one bad situation. Now that I have a successful situation after her, I have a successful 4-year situation. Hello. How are you? I'm well, thank you.
Good. Name?